What's up, ladies, gents, girls with lace fronts, dudes with kids? It's the one and only, you can't clone me, queen, baby. And before we get into this video, make sure you go down below to subscribe and join the queendom. And if you're already a part of this palace, hey y'all, hey. So as you already read the title down below, I'm going to be getting into episode 6 of Marriage Boot Camp, Hip Hop Edition. So with that being said, let's get into the video. So, coming off of episode 5, we seen that Tahiry and Vado had gotten into an altercation that caused Vado to actually put his whole hands on Tahiry. So it turned very, very physical, very, very quick because he was very, very, very upset and he felt very, 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 very disrespected because Tahiry was throwing apples at him, throwing apples at him. So we kind of left off last episode with that, and then we coming back into this and we see Dr. Ish is taking Vado out of the room because he just needs to be away from the situation, period, because he's so angry and he's so upset at this time and in this moment. Now Tahiry, you can tell based off of how she reacted to the situation and to him choking her out that she clearly been through this before, or she just been through anything that's been like domestic towards her, because her reaction was so like nonchalant and very like she didn't have no type of reaction when it happened. So it's like, dang, is she used to this? Like, what's wrong? What's the problem? Because that's not normal. And couldn't find out, well, she was used to it because she's been in these situations before. So this is not the first time. I just think she was in shock because she didn't expect Vado, who was her friend before anything, to do this to them. But you never know what a person would do if you push them to their limit, or if they get pushed to a limit they don't even know how to control yet. And he immature, so of course he don't know how to control whatever anger he may get or be. But after Dr. Ish take Vado to the office or take Vado to the back, he come back to check on Tahiry to make sure she's okay and everything is fine, and just making sure that she knows like the situation that happened, it isn't her fault. No matter what she did beforehand, like it should never get to that point, and he should never get to the point to where he wants to physically abuse her. So he's just like assuring Tahiry like, it's not your fault, it's not your fault. And then he goes back and goes to talk to Vado to see like where his head at, because it's clearly out the window at this point. So now the whole vibe of the house is changed, but everybody's just trying to make sure Tahiry is okay and she's comfortable. Now Dr. Ish and Vado is in a bad talking, and I don't even know why we even here at this, not so much here at this point, because I knew where it was gonna go. Vado don't take no type of accountability at all, period, no matter what he do. He's just immature minded like that. But at the end of the day, they both was wrong. And I said that my last recap, they both was wrong. She threw apples at him that made him feel disrespected, and he put his hands on her. Now granted, what he did to her was totally worse, and way worse, and just over the top. Like he just went beyond like what I feel like anybody thought he was gonna do, because like nobody knew he was that angry. Everybody knew he was mad, but not to the point you want to put your hands and choke this girl out. So like I said, he's not taking no accountability for what he did. He just feel like, well, I was disrespected, so this was my action because I felt disrespected by her. Vado, it should never get there. It should never get to that point. Like, leave the room, step away. Like, it's so many things that you could have did to prevent yourself from reacting the way that you did. But no, your whole point, your whole answer to the situation is, well, she disrespected me first. That's not how that works. But Dr. Ish let him know, like, that's unexcusable. Like, anything that you're trying to say or anything that you're trying to use to justify what you did is just point blank period unexcusable. And at this point, he got to get out the house. Like, he's still a part of the program. We found out that he still is a part of the program. He just got to be out the house and away from Tahiry. And because like it's so late at night at this point, he's going to be sleeping on the floor in the doctor's office while everybody else, go to their comfy beds, because that's just the repercussions that you get. Well, he's still part of the program, which is good, because clearly it's more that he needs to work on. And thank God, like, even though it is marriage boot camp, they do try to focus on like their personal growth as well, because I feel like it starts with what you got going on personally, and then it develops into the relationship that they have. So that's kind of where we leave off with Tahiry and Vado and that whole situation. And my thing is, they drugged that whole situation out and promoted it to the T for it to just like kind of stop and end there. Like, it was just okay, like, okay. So now that Dr. Ish is done talking to Vado, he goes back to the group and basically excuse everybody for the night, because what had just transpired was just too much. So it's late at night anyway, so everybody, y'all could just go to bed. Y'all not having evaluations tonight. Like, it's really nothing. And then he kind of pulled Tahiry to the side so he can speak to her alone, because at first he was talking to her in front of the group, but now it's time to talk to her separately and by herself. And when they are talking, Tahiry basically let the doctor know, like, she's been through this situation before. And the doctor already knew, because how she reacted, like I said, how she reacted, it just kind of shows that she's basically like a domestic abuse survivor. And she just been through this before. And she lets the doctor know, like, this is what it is. I'm used to this. I'm only shocked because this is my friend and I didn't expect this from him. That's the only reason I'm shocked. Other than that, like, she like, oh, it's her demeanor is like, not so much it's whatever, but it's like, it's whatever, which is sad. It's so sad. Now, of course, after the whole shebang, everybody else in the house is going to, you know, go to their sides and whatever, how they 2 cents, talk to their partner about what just happened in front of them. And we kind of get into Toni and Kurupt talking about the situation. And Kurupt is like, well, she shouldn't threw the apples at him. And Toni was like, and Toni is speaking to him and let him know, like, yes, she was wrong and she threw the apples at him, but that is no excuse for him to hit her, put his hands on her, choke her out. Like, that's just point blank period, not an excuse. And they kind of go back and forth about that. But we all know Kurupt ain't got not 2 or 3, 4, 1 cent. So of course we gonna know what he's saying in the whole thing, cause he just Kurupt. So after that whole traumatic incident and that whole traumatic, horrific night, it's a new day, and the judge told her, Dr. Ish and some of the producers sit down and they discuss what happened, because they got to talk about it. Like, what are they going to do? Granted, I already told y'all that Vado is out the house and they finna move him to a hotel, and Tahiry stays in the house, but they both still a part of the program, so they're going to see, like, how they're going to move forward. But they're still going to help both sides of the situation. So that's kind of what happens in the beginning. So after that, it's time for Dr. Ish to tell Vado what's what. Now, I hope he knew he was going home, like, or leaving the house. He had to know that. But Dr. Ish goes and tells Vado, like, he got to go to a hotel. He's still going to be a part of the program. And it's like, you know, not so much no bad blood, but it's just not acceptable. It's not okay. You can't think it's okay, so you have to leave. And Vado, once again, not taking accountability or just realizing how wrong he was, even though she was wrong too. And I'm going to keep saying this because she was wrong, and I have to say that because she was. At the end of the day, she was, because what she did wasn't right and what he did wasn't right. His was just the worst. Like, his was worse than hers. So once again, him not taking accountability. Well, she been, for so long, she's been nitpicking me, and I've been feeling some type of way, and she just been disrespecting me and just talking down on me and all this type of stuff, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And Dr. Ish is just talking to him like, that's still no excuse. Like, all this you're saying is still not making your point any clearer, because you were wrong, sir. You were wrong. At any time you feel like somebody is dragging you to a point that you just can't control yourself, leave. And if you don't leave, this is going to be the repercussions, and these are going to be your actions, because you don't know how to control it. And because of that, you gotta go. Simple. But this also proves and shows to me, like, Tahiry and Vado was never real. I feel like they was friends, but I don't think they not really together for real. Like, they really just to get the money from this reality show at this point, because I don't know. Granted, I know some people probably would react the way that Vado did if he felt disrespected, but not if you really love somebody, like somebody. Like, you either gonna step away, or you gonna really, like, sit back and think, like, I need to move myself. You ain't gonna react like that. So it shows that he has no respect for Tahiry, and because it shows that he has no respect for Tahiry, it shows that they're not together at all. Period. this is a joke. Like, their relationship is not real. It's a joke. So now that that whole drama is finally over, it's time for the rest of the group and couples to get into the exercise that is going to be happening today. It seems like the day is already completed because so much has already happened in this episode. But no, it's time for them to get into their exercise and their assignment today, which is going to tackle finding the things that they hate with themselves and within that kind of makes them angry and pushes that anger out towards other people or towards their partner within their relationship. So it's going to tackle that. So to start off the exercise, they had to write down things that they don't like about themselves on a canvas, which actually ends up being a t-shirt of things that they hate about themselves. So you can say, I hate drinking alcohol, Kurupt. You can say, I hate being angry, Toni. You can say, I hate cheating, Willie. Like, they said all these different things about themselves and they just writing it on the canvas thinking they're going to just talk about it. But little do they know, it was a shirt that they were writing on. So once they were complete, Dr. Ish told them they have to put on their shirt and they have to wear the shirt for the rest of the day. Now, of course, you're going to feel some type of way because you have written down all the things that you dislike and hate about yourself so much that you don't really want nobody to see that. Like, you basically wearing your insecurities like a badge of honor around the house. And of course they feel it some type of way about that because it's like, oh my God, I hate this about myself. Like, you guys shouldn't see this. Like, oh my God. But I mean, it's not as bad because they kind of used to it and they talked about it and they done dealt with worse things. So that was the start of the exercise. So once all the issues finished with them, it's time for them to just break off and go into their own little separate corners or however they converse. Shanda speaks to Willie on how she just doesn't feel like she's enough because beyond the cheating, he just don't treat her like a queen. He don't treat her right. She just feel like he doesn't do enough or honestly doesn't do nothing for her to make her feel like she's wanted. And personally, I'm happy that she was able to get that off and let him know that because I feel like she's been bottling that up and it's been building for so long that she felt that way, that I feel like that also has been a hinder on their relationship. I'm happy, like I said, I'm happy she said something because it's like at the end of the day, you've been with this man for 15 years and he need to treat you like how you want to be treated. You know how you want to be treated, so let that nigga know. Pooh. Now, Toni is letting Kurupt have it because his butt is back drinking again after Dr. Ish, well, not even Dr. Ish. Well, yeah, Dr. Ish asked him, can you slow down on the drinking? He promised Dr. Ish, yes, I'm not going to drink hard liquor. I'm just going to try to stick to beers. I thought he was doing good. He set me up. He set everybody up. No, because he not. He back drinking that hard liquor. And he's trying to, once again, justify what he's doing after he sat there and told somebody that he wasn't going to do it. And he made a promise. I'm not drinking this much. I'm only drinking a little bit. I'm only taking like small shots. But he's taking a small shot after small shot after small shot after small shot. Baby, it's the whole bottle at this point. And Toni is upset. Per usual, as always. This ain't nothing new. But I get it. Like, I understand why she's so upset because it's like she keep going through this. It's like a back and forth type of thing. A round and round cycle that's never ending, that's never stopping, that goes on and on forever. But I feel like she just need to get out of that situation because it's just not healthy. He's not healthy and she's trying to help him, but he's not trying to change and he's not trying to help himself. So it's really nothing she can do at this point but just leave and go be happy on your own at this point. So once we get out of the whole situation with Toni and Kurupt, we get into Dr. Ish basically bringing the group back together because now it's time to end off the exercise for the day. And mind you guys, they still have on the shirts of the insecurities and the things that they hate about themselves. So now it's time to wash and rip and fight all those demons away. So what they're going to do is they're going to put the shirt of their insecurities on a mannequin and it's time to box it out. Boop, 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 boop. So they're gonna box out and fight their own personal demons. Ooh, yeah, I like that. I like that. I felt that. Imagine battling and fighting your own personal demons. Like, get it out, get it out. So yeah, they are fighting their own demons and setting free and being released of all the anger that they have, which I believe is going to help them a lot because everybody just want to fight to release some type of anger and energy, but not the way Vado did. Not that type of way, but your own, you know? So once they kind of done with that, because they didn't really get into much. So once they were kind of done with that and all fighting the mannequins, which I do want to say, Phaedra is funny because she was just like trying to be so cutesy, like, ding, ding. It was so funny, but there's neither here or there. But once they was done with that, Dr. Ish basically let them know like they did a great job today. They didn't really have any problems. They all participated. They all got through it, and no evaluations tonight. Great job. Good night. That was literally all it. I really think that the Tahiry and Vado thing took up so much time that they couldn't really get into the actual exercise as much or film the actual exercise as much so we can see. So they got straight to the point and moving on next. So now Kurupt is talking to Tahiry and Shanda, basically speaking on problems he has dealt with that makes him sad and angry and wants to drink. Now, of course, hearing the sad stories that he's telling, like his mom passed, so that's why he got his drinking. I mean, that's why he's drinking so much. This happened, that's why he's drinking so much. They falling for it. Granted, Toni in the room too. So they all falling for it. Shanda and Tahiry like, oh my God, that's so sad. Like, oh, I understand, but this and that. Like, they falling for the sad story. Child boo, Toni over there is like, y'all, what? Please, my whole family done passed away, and that don't give me an excuse to go drinking abusively and acting the way that I act and putting all that type of toxic energy on other people that's trying to help you. They don't give you no excuse for that. So please try that with somebody else. And plus, she done heard it 1,000,000 times. So of course, he's telling it to some new people. Of course, they're gonna feel sad and feel some type of way because this is his way of trying to make them be on his side. And it's like, no. Don't try to be on his side, because just like how he told you this story, he told me this story, he told this person that story, and he told somebody else that same story, and guess what? He ain't changed yet. So now at this point, you just talking, and you ain't talking about nothing, because you ain't doing nothing. But trying to justify why you drinking so much, please, everybody got problems. That don't mean you go and act the way you act and do what you do. No, unexcusable, period. So now Kurupt is mad because she has a rebuttal to everything he's saying. And her rebuttals be so true because they get him so tight. So he be leaving the room. So once Kurupt left, it's kind of like the girls talk for a little bit and they just asking her like, have you heard this? She like, yeah, I heard this before plenty of times. It's not nothing new. This new to y'all. So of course y'all gonna feel some type of way. But not to me. I done heard it 1,000,000,000,000 times. It's like Kurupt is the boy who cried wolf. And at this point, he finna get bitten because I don't believe anything he says. Because he's not trying to improve. He's not telling the truth. So they kind of end up there and Kurupt goes to the room, so everybody else kind of go to bed after that, after the girls speak for a little bit. And Toni is still up, and I guess she said she needed something out of Kurupt's phone, so she goes to his phone. Even though I don't think she needed something, girl, she tried to look in that phone to see what was up, because she just knew. She felt it. Like, you know how sometimes you just feel something, and they could be asleep, and you would feel something like, damn, something ain't right. So she had one of them gut feelings, so she took his phone, and she went through his call log. And in the earlier episodes, Kurupt talked about this girl who's his artist, but he brings the artist to his hotel and they be talking. But Toni like, no, you had sex with that girl. Don't play with me. Like, I know what y'all did. Stop lying. Like, stop lying about it. Just tell me the truth. Now, this was like a while back on the podcast episode. So she goes in his call log and she sees that he's been talking to the girl. I don't know when he found time to talk to the girl, but he been talking to the girl while they been at this house. And my good sis Toni is heated. She's mad because she already know this is somebody that you cheated on me with and you still in contact with her. But of course he's gonna say, well, this is my artist, so of course I gotta talk to her. Of course he's gonna say that. Like, you know, that's his thing. That's his scapegoat. So we leave the episode off there because we leave it. Toni's being mad after looking through Kurupt's phone. And that's kind of really it. I feel like this episode was geared so much to Vado and Tahiry that we really didn't dive deep into all the other couples, so it really wasn't much to get into and much to say. This was a good episode. It was a subpar episode. We seen what we needed to see because they put so much on the Vado and Tahiry thing that they had to put in as much as they could on it. But at the end of the day, it wasn't really much. So yeah, that's kind of where we ended. If you like this episode or seen this episode, let me know down in the comments below. Y'all already know how we get down. Let me know in the comments what y'all feel. Did you see this episode? What you feel about this episode? What you feel about the whole Vado and Tahiry thing? Let me know, sis. Let me know, bruh. Just let me know. And also make sure y'all like this video. Give it a thumbs up. Please, please, please. And last and certainly not least, make sure you subscribe and join the queen, baby. Bye.